If you had asked me in my teens, how many bank accounts do you have? I would have said one. But now, being in my 20s, I've realized you cannot have just one account. If anything, I wish someone had told me that the accounts that you open in your 20s actually shape up your financial future. And with the right accounts, you can save faster, earn interest, avoid unnecessary fees, and build a strong credit profile. Whilst the wrong accounts can actually drain lots and lots of money from you. And so in today's video, I want to talk about the 5 accounts that every single person should have in their 20s. And if you haven't met me before, I'm Dr. Yosa, a medical doctor based in London who creates content on how to use your 9-to-5 salary to create your dream life through investing. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so that you can see my latest uploads. The first one, which everyone has, is a current account. And a current account, you probably had it opened either by your parents when you got your first job or when you had to go to university. This is like your financial hub. It's where your salary typically comes in, where your bills come out from, any direct debits like the gym or Spotify, and it's probably the account that you use for everyday spending, let's say groceries. In my head, this account is basically your everyday account, and it's really important that your account provider isn't charging you any hidden fees. So a common fee that most banks will try to charge you for is overdraft. Due to the rise of fintech and banks like Monzo, Starling, Chase, you can actually have an everyday bank that costs you close to nothing. The second account that you need is known as a high interest savings account, and this is really important, and I'll explain to you why. If you keep your savings in your current account, typically speaking, most current accounts don't pay you any interest. So if they do, it's like 0.01%, which is the equivalent of pennies. And unfortunately, you can't do very much with pennies in 2025. And to make it worse, when you leave money in your current account, it's so much easier to touch it and spend it, which is why any money that you have saved is really good to put it in a high interest savings account. And with a high interest savings account, you could be earning 4% or more interest on the balance of the account, which means that the savings, which is likely to be your emergency fund, is actually making money for you. To explain that, I'm going to give a practical example. Let's say you had £5,000 saved for an emergency and you had it in a high interest savings account that was giving you 4% a year. Well, at the end of the year, you would have earned £200 in interest. Whereas if you kept it in your current account that was giving you 0.01% interest, that is the equivalent of 50p for the whole year. And you can't even buy sweets now with 50p. One thing to add though, there are different types of high interest savings accounts, so it kind of depends on what's important to you. You've got easy access ones, which allow you to withdraw the money whenever, which is really good in case of an emergency. And then you have fixed term accounts, which might lock your money away for 6 to 12 months or maybe longer, but in exchange for doing this, they will give you a higher interest rate. So like I said, it kind of depends on what you want and what you value at the time that you're picking your high interest savings account. The third account that you want to think about is your retirement account, and I put this into 2 buckets. You want to think about your pension, and you also want to think about your ISA if you're UK based, and if you're US based, then that's your 401k and your Roth IRA. So we'll start off with the pension first. Although retiring feels a long way away when you're in your 20s, it's something that we need to think about now, because unfortunately the cost of living is ever rising, and if you don't think about your retirement, the life that you probably want to have in your retirement may not be affordable if you haven't mapped out how you're going to be able to live that lifestyle there. And that's where pension contributions come in. In the UK, if you already have a job, chances are you've been enrolled into a workplace pension, which means your employer puts money aside every single month for your pension. And then to further incentivize it, the government does give tax relief too. So it's basically like free money on the table. And then you've got the ISAs, which are the individual savings accounts, which is brilliant because the interest and gains are completely tax-free. The most powerful one of the 4 different types available is known as the stocks and share ISA, and you can invest up to £20,000 a year, and whatever grows inside the ISA is completely tax-free. If you invest in the stock market consistently over a period of time and you've allowed the magic of compounding to happen, you can end up with crazy amounts of money in your 50s and your 60s. And like I said, it would be completely tax-free because it'd be within the ISA wrapper. The 4th one is a credit card account. Now I'm going to put a caveat and say that this one, if you are not cautious, it can go wrong and mess everything up. Now the reason why I advocate for a credit card, especially in your 20s, is because it helps to build your credit score, and your credit score will determine if you can get loans, if you can get mortgages, and sometimes it actually influences whether or not you can rent a property. Those people who have a higher credit score are likely to get better interest rates because they are deemed less risky, whereas those who have a poor credit score people will more likely be given products that have a high interest rate because they are deemed as risky. As I mentioned, having a credit card can be a double-edged sword. However, there are things that you can do to ensure that you're using it responsibly. The first thing is ensuring that you only spend what you can afford to pay in full at the end of the month, because you don't want to ever carry the balance over. Otherwise, you'll be subject to really high interest rates that can be as high as 20%. The second thing you want to do is use your card for your daily expenses, things like groceries, petrol. And then step 3 is you want to set up a direct debit to make sure that the balance of your credit card is paid in full, so it takes away the guesswork and it also avoids you having to pay late fees. And the last account is your investment account. Your investment account, in my opinion, is the most important because this account has the potential to completely change your financial situation. And an investment account is completely different from a savings account. A savings account is safe and has low returns, whereas an investment account is slightly riskier, but the returns can be a lot higher than something known as inflation. And inflation is basically a thing that erodes how much value your money provides, just because the value of an item is increasing. And I always say this, inflation is the reason why sweets went from costing 50p to costing £1.50. There are different investment accounts in the UK. You've got the stocks and share ISA, which we touched on earlier in the retirement section, but that is a really good way to get access into the stock market. You have the LISA, which is a lifetime ISA. This is actually great for people who are trying to purchase homes for the first time, because the government will top up 25% of whatever money that you put in there. But it's really important you read the T's and C's, because it may not be applicable to everyone depending on what the end goal is. And then you've got the GIA, which is a general investment account. Although there is not tax benefits with this account, if you have maxed the more tax efficient routes, it still allows you to invest. And when it comes to investing, there are different things you can invest in. You can invest in the stock market, you can invest in index funds, you can invest in property, intellectual property, you can start a business. There's so many things that you can use the money in this account to do. The reason why it's called an investment account is because the money in here is solely being used for the purpose of trying to maximize the returns that you can get through the means of investing. In summary, in your 20s, you need to have your current account, which is your everyday account, a high yield savings account to help build your emergency fund, a retirement account like a pension or ISA, so you could take advantage of decades of compounding, and you could also start to prepare for your future life now. The fourth is a credit card account, if used responsibly, can help build a good credit score. And then the last is an investment account, which can change the trajectory, and it's actually where true wealth is built. Let me know what you think about these 5 accounts. Do you agree that you need these 5 accounts in your 20s in order to shape your financial future? Or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments, and let me know if there's any other accounts that you think people should have in their 20s. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed and joined the family, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can see my latest uploads, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!